Good evening, it's time for the news right here on Times Television, TTV, and you're with me, Ronald Mpaso. First, the headlines. Judiciary members of staff seek an interlocutory injunction against enactment of the Labor Relations Amendment Bill. The Anti-Corruption Bureau has unfrozen bank accounts for former President Peter Mutharika, his wife Gertrude, and former Malawi Revenue Authority boss Rosa Mbilizi. And in our special report, Thomas Kachere looks into the plight of a person with a disability from Neno District. We have these and other stories. Stay with us. In our first story, the Judiciary Members of Staff Union has filed an application seeking that the court grants them an interlocutory injunction against enactment of the Labor Relations Amendment Bill pending judicial review. The application was filed to the High Court Blantyre Registry on July 14. Feston Malekezo has this report, which is being read by Patience Lunda.
The application, Judicial Review Case number 44 of 2021, has Speaker of National Assembly, Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Minister of Labour, Skills and Innovation, Attorney General, President of the Republic of Malawi as first, second, third, fourth and fifth respondents respectively. The application comes at a time when President Lazarus Chakwera had an interface with Malawi Congress of Trade Union members where he assured them that he will not sign the bill. But in an interview, lawyer for the applicants, Wesley Mafulirwa of Kawero Lawyers, said they are still proceeding with the case because there's no formal communication from the president that he will not assent to the bill. Registrar of High Court and Supreme Court of Appeal, Gladys Gondwe, confirmed on Friday that they have received the application and the case has been assigned to Judge Mandala Mambulasa. Among others, the bill has Section 46, which has been amended to grant an employer the right to deduct wages of an employee who is on strike.
The Anti-Corruption Bureau, ACB, has unfrozen bank accounts for former President Peter Mutharika, his wife Gertrude, and former Malawi Revenue Authority MRA boss Rosa Mbilizi. The accounts were unfrozen in August last year for investigations into importation of duty-free cement from Zambia worth 5 billion kwacha. ACB Senior Public Relations Officer Egrita Ndala said the accounts were given back to the holders at the expiry of the restriction order in June this year. Audrey Kapalamula has a report.
Mutharika is involved in the cement saga following reports that his bodyguard Norman Chisale, former Chief of Staff for State Residences Peter Mukito, and Lilongwe-based businessman Ahmad Chanura were allegedly involved in the importation of about 1.2 million bags of cement using Mutharika's taxpayer identification number. After 11 months of freezing some of his accounts and those of Mbilizi, ACB spokesperson Egrita Ndala says the restriction order they obtained from the court has served its purpose. Ndala says investigations into the matter are ongoing and are at an advanced stage.
It's true that we are planning to have an interview with the former president on the alleged abuse of the TPIN that was belonging to him. This is an investigation that has been underway since 2020, and the plans to actually interview him have been ongoing from around May.
Mutharika's lawyer Samuel Tembenu said he needed to check with his client before giving a comment. Meanwhile, the ACB has indicated that the Bureau will interrogate Mutharika on the matter this month.
Blessings Mpinganjira reading that report. Health Minister Kumbi Zekando Chiponda says the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 has agreed to disburse 80 million kwacha to the Malawi Police Service to assist it in enforcing COVID-19 preventive measures. Chiponda says as of today, Malawi had recorded 756 new cases and 12 deaths. Chiponda was speaking at a press briefing in Lilongwe. She says Malawi is expected to receive 300,000 doses of Pfizer vaccine early next month. The minister says schools will remain open. There is uncertainty as to when the economic partnership agreement between Malawi and the European Union, allowing for better trade possibilities, will be signed. This was revealed during a workshop organized by the Ministry of Trade and Property Rights Alliance, but hosted by Japanese Tobacco International (JTI). Among other things, one of the main points was to focus on fostering discussions on the long-awaited signing of the agreement. Yamikani Kachaje has the details.
The workshop was aimed at sharing ideas on how better regulation and trade reforms will build a more sustainable economic future for the country. Speaking in an interview, the Corporate Affairs and Communications Director at JTI Malawi, Limbani Kakome, said if signed, the agreement will better trade possibilities. He said discussing the issues on the Economic Partnership Agreement with EU could lead to benefits for all players in the country.
The EU is a major export destination for a lot of our commodities, tobacco, sugar, tea, and many other commodities. Now, considering that it's the main destination, we are sitting with an arrangement which was concocted some years ago under the Cotonou Agreement, which says, which is the anything, everything but arms initiative. The EU proposed to many countries to say, can we move to a more free trade agreement that fosters trade? Malawi has been contemplating on this one for many years, and the question is, where are we?
Ministry of Trade Secretary Christina Zakeo said this interface with different groups will indeed allow for better regulation and trade framework reforms.
We have been exporting to the EU using what we are calling everything but arms initiative, but we believe that that is not enough and we need to do more, because some of the countries in the region, they've also concluded such agreements. So this time around, we've gone into this specific consultative, meetings just to ensure that I think we get all the necessary consensus, in particular for members of parliament, from the private sector, even from the civil society, so that we have to conclude a better agreement.
The workshop saw actors from both the public and private sector taking part in the discussions, with bodies such as COMESA, CISANET, Farmers Union of Malawi, Ministry of Agriculture, and the Committee of Parliament on Industry, Trade and Tourism, among others. This is not the first time JTI has hosted a better regulations workshop. However, previous events have focused on tobacco regulation itself.
You're watching the news on Times Television, TTV. We now take a break. We'll be back shortly.
Like every mom, you want the best for your child.
Happy birthday.
You feed her mind and nurture her body. And you understand there are times you have to let her pick herself up when she falls. You make sure she knows the joy of sharing happy moments with family. And when everything comes together, you above all others will share the taste of success with her. Blue Band tastes like mama's love.
If there's one thing that all soaps do, it's wash. From buckets to basins, bathrooms to streams, and everything in between.
All soaps wash.
Yes, but Protex is different. Its reinvented formula with flaxseed oil boosts your skin's natural anti-germ defenses by 10 times more, protecting you against 99.9% of germs. So what keeps us healthy?
Protex!
Good health starts here.
Hi, little one. What seems to be the matter? I know just what you need. Me! I'm Classic Milk, your instant milk powder. Perfect for breakfast, tea time, or evening time. Whether you're working hard in the office or just relaxing at home. And I'm suitable for tea, coffee, or an instant milk drink for kids just like you. Yes! That's exactly how I make you feel.
Classic instant milk from Rab Processors. Full cream milk powder for the whole family.
Welcome back. In our special report, Thomas Kachere takes a look at the plight of a person with disabilities from Neno district.
Born without hands and feet, 22-year-old Saube Kandewu of Neno district is constantly trying to prove to the world that disability is not inability. Despite doing his best to be a self-reliant and productive citizen, financial constraints remain his constant headache. A strange hush engulfed the maternity room at Neno District Hospital on July 1st, 1999. According to his aunt, the silence that engulfed the room was courtesy of relatives who were touched by the fact that the baby they had for 9 months and 16 days waited for had no hands and feet. How would he farm, eat? More questions lined up. This was to mark the long-term relationship between Kandewu and adversity, which he has learned to beat, albeit needing moral, technical and financial support here and there. Surprisingly, despite being born without wrists and feet, he always starts his day by doing any household work, just like any other person without physical challenge. Seated on the veranda of a dilapidated house in the high-density township of Chirimba in Blantyre, Saube narrates.
I was born without wrists and feet, and like everyone else, I want to make the best out of life. That is why, despite having no feet, I do not have problems with mobility. I can walk and cover long distances, and on top of that, I do many things by myself. The only thing that demoralizes me is that people look down upon me. I have braved discrimination from the time I stepped in standard 1 at primary school level. Often, classmates could come hard on me, either through attitude or brazen words. Some of them could tell me off in my face. Even school authorities, those who are supposed to know better, would reinforce prevalent perceptions, often without knowing it, I believe. For instance, I could be sidelined during sporting activities because people thought I could not play, say football, even though they knew I wanted to.
However, the Form 3 dropout is not surprised that, despite his efforts to fend for himself, his labors are often misunderstood. He said in Malawi, discrimination is an in thing, something people wallow in without regret, let alone a hint of shame.
I have gone through it all. In truth, discrimination contributed to my dropping out of school. As we speak, I have been denied many opportunities to do piecework simply because people judge me based on my condition, and never based on the potential I have. I do not give up though, never will. If I could be trained in electronics, I would try to meet my needs because, honestly, there are a lot of things that I like, and if there could be a chance of being assisted by well-wishers, all I would need is funds for training in electronics and capital so that I can venture into small business.
For starters, Kandewu can farm, sew, and compose and play music, which he is passionate about during his free time. And he dreams big, more so because he allows his thoughts to wander about. Financial constraints limit his potential though. Kandewu is not short of admirers, one of whom being Federation of Disability Organizations in Malawi, FEDOMA, Acting Executive Director Simon Munde. Munde, however, bemoaned that government has not fully embraced persons with disability. He wondered why, up to now, the country is still using Handicapped Persons Act of 1971, which he said needed to be reviewed. He urged the government to increase the financial allocation towards the implementation of Disability Trust Fund, which he said has been decreasing instead of going up.
Even within their hearts, to most of those persons with disabilities that have relied on other people to be doing things for them, within their hearts they know they have abilities. They know within their hearts that they have abilities. So the message to them is that, colleagues, take yourself just like any other person. Those abilities that you know you have, let them be unfolded. Let them be released. Let them come out. Please, try to do something that you know you can do, and make sure you show the world.
Community Development Minister Patricia Kaliati commended Saube for believing in himself, adding that it is people like him who should be supported to meet their dreams.
These are the people whom we can totally support, because we know that they'll be leading as role models to parents who are having persons with disabilities that they need to be sending their children to school and even training them in different skills. To the man who also support, because he's helping government in one another by doing it despite of his disability status.
Malawi has over 2 million people with disability, representing 13% of the total population, according to National Statistical Office indicators. However, most of them are visible in streets where they beg for money and sometimes material resources in a last-ditch attempt to support their families. The 2030 United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 8 promotes inclusive and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. But to people like Andeu, failure to access training in electronics and elusive source of capital stand between his dream of becoming self-reliant and the SDG goal for decent work opportunities to be available to all.
The Anti-Corruption Bureau has reintroduced its toll-free number to encourage people to report corrupt practices. The Bureau spokesperson, Egrita Ndala, has confirmed the development. Rebecca Chimjeka has compiled this report read by Fali Banda.
According to Ndala, the reintroduction of the line is expected to encourage citizens to report corruption incidents in the country. The toll-free line remains 113. Ndala says the line can be used by subscribers of both TNM and Airtel networks. The SCB is asking the people not to abuse the initiative.
We rely on people informing us about alleged corrupt practices happening in their various places, communities, and even in rural areas as well. And what we noted within the time when our toll-free line was down is that people were not really able to report. Some people were not able to report because they felt that they may not be able to buy airtime. They lodged their complaints to the Bureau.
Meanwhile, the Human Rights Defenders Coalition HRDC chairperson Gift Trapensi has commended the Bureau for moving a step towards the fight against corruption.
The Gender Justice Unit says vast knowledge in information communication technology for female members of parliament is vital for their active participation in different aspects of life. Project officer for the organization, Tiwonge Nyemba, said this today during a capacity building training for Parliamentary Women's Caucus in Lilongwe. The union has so far donated 50 tablets to newly elected female members of parliament. Emmanuel Simpokorwe has compiled this report read by Fali Banda.
Nyemba said the coming of COVID-19 pandemic has further exposed the inability of most female MPs to participate in virtual meetings. She also said proposal writing and advocacy were some of the critical gaps that deter the female MPs from effective engagement and performance.
Basically, the project aims to strengthen the capacity of female parliamentarians and councillors that they should be able to effectively contribute in decision-making processes at national level and at local level.
The session was part of the 2-year Open Society for Southern Africa, or CISA-funded project called Leadership and Legal Empowerment for newly elected female MPs and councillors in the country. Chairperson for the Parliamentary Women Caucus, Loni Jared Piri, said the tablets and training will increase their visibility globally as well as gain the knowledge of proposal writing and advocacy.
So with the tablets that we got now, I'm sure we are going to be well updated, because the phones that we had, most of us prefer having the Mosewaliro phones, or if you go to the S phones, you find that the space is just too small, cannot accommodate all the things.
Gender and Justice Unit is an non-governmental organization involved in legal empowerment as one of the most powerful catalysts of gender equality and social justice.
Engineering students at the Malawi University of Business and Applied Sciences, MUBAS, are advocating for the embracing of locally innovated devices. They believe this can help the country to save a lot of resources. The students made the call during an annual showcase of different innovations that engineering students have developed at the institution to be used in the health sector. Hilary Lodzanyama, manager of Engineering Innovations Center at the university, explains.
The idea is that in trying to create technologies that are developed in the country, we are projecting a scenario where we are bridging in the gap where deficiencies in the devices that are used in the health sector is reduced, and also even the lifespan of the technologies that are being transferred to the hospital that are being created here will be there will be fast transmission of devices being made, manufactured, to them being used, and even when they are being used, even the maintenance of the devices themselves, it can be easier, since the devices in the first place would have been made to suit our Malawian standards. We always try to aim for excellence. We always try to achieve the best. So we are hopeful that we can make far better much things than what we've showcased today.
Biomedical engineering student Hope Castle said they have come up with various innovations to respond to various challenges that medical practitioners face in hospitals.
Have developed different devices ranging from an oxygen analyzer, a vein locator, a suction machine monitor, and also a bite fish, but also a UVC sterilizer, mask sterilizer, and also Movili, which are supposed to help in different areas of the health sector, to help with the different problems that doctors face and also patients face in different hospitals in Malawi.
Karonga District Council has been operating without district development plan for almost 5 years, newly appointed council chairperson Miriam Msukwa has revealed. The district development plan is a guide formulated to district councils in implementing development projects, and it is shared with non-government organizations and other development partners. Sam Kalimira has a report.
Speaking in an interview, the Karonga district chairperson Miriam Msukwa said it is sad that for the past 5 years the council was operating without district development plan, a development which was contributing to disagreements among councillors and members of parliament when prioritizing development. Msukwa, who was voted on the position this week, said his first task will be ensuring that the council has developed a district development plan within 6 months before pushing to complete some developmental projects that stalled.
The district has operated without the plans, and one of the issues that I want to tap on as I start my work is to have to develop the district development plan. When you have a plan, all things move properly, because it's just the same as if you send a builder, you say, yeah, you go and build a house. He can build in the way he wants.
He said the second task will be uniting the council, which according to him is divided not only because of political differences but also personal hatred. One of the social commentators, Peter Mumba, said the council has been sleeping on the job, saying the developmental blueprint is a priority at the council.
Maybe this could be a wake-up call to all the councils. And some we have these officers, but the question is, what is it that they are doing? And the councils are not even developing. We look at infrastructure development, very poor. So I think as a country, we need to be very serious with these officers. The officers in positions, are they really delivering? So it's a question to say, are they really delivering? So in Kalonga, it's one of the examples which is just very, very unfortunate.
The Minister of Local Government recently said a development strategic plan is important in councils, saying it guides both the secretariat and the political arm of councillors on best practices of project implementation.
That's the news for now, but before we go, the headlines again. Judiciary members of staff seek an interlocutory injunction against enactment of the Labour Relations Amendment Bill. The Anti-Corruption Bureau has unfrozen bank accounts for former President Peter Mutharika, his wife Gertrude, and former Malawi Revenue Authority boss Rosa Mbilizi. And in our special report, Thomas Kachere looks into the plight of a person with disabilities from Neno District. Remember, you can get more on these and other stories by visiting our website www.times.mw, liking our Facebook page Times360 Malawi, and following us on Twitter at Times360 Malawi. Remember to wash your hands regularly, observe social and physical distance, and mask up. Stay safe and have a lovely night. You've been with me, Ronald Mpaso.